So we live naturally. We live in a natural environment. We try to live in harmony with nature. And then simultaneously, then we have spiritual concepts, or time to think about higher concepts in life. Much of the world these days, instead of having natural living and higher thinking, it kind of goes the other way. Right? It's high living and don't think too much. Just do whatever you want and live high and don't think about the deeper parts of life. So here we try to think about the deeper meaning of life, what it's actually about. And we have a sacred atmosphere here because all the life is protected. Obviously we're vegetarian, and after we have the program today, after the feast, we'll go and visit our cows. Would anyone like to come and visit the cows with us? Yeah, that's super popular. Everyone likes it. Because these cows are very special because the cows are born here and they die here. Right? And next door, the farm next door, is a beef farm. So they just grow the cows and they just slaughter them when they're young or when they're middle-aged. Whereas here, everything is different. Everyone is safe here. You can feel there is a sacred atmosphere. Everyone is protected here. And you don't need to feel anxiety. And we see what's happened in the last 18 months or so in the world. Things changed a little bit. And we understood actually anything can happen at any time. Everyone thinks it's all secure. It's not secure. And if you think that was just 2020, that was just a bad year, no, it's not going to be like that. There's a karma in the world. There's an energy. There's good energy, but there's also negative energy, and the negative energy is gaining momentum at the moment. And that is because this particular disease, what was the disease that we've got at the moment? COVID-19. I forgot. I hadn't heard about it much lately. So COVID-19, this came from people, humans, manipulating animals. In other words, if you don't live in harmony with nature, nature is going to come back to you in a negative way. Right? So here at Hare Krishna Valley, one of the reasons why the atmosphere is sacred is because we protect the life, we respect the life. And because everything is protected and respected, then you have that sacred atmosphere here. Right? The heavy karmic atmosphere is not present. Whereas if you go back out there into the normal world, where many of you may live, out there in the normal place, then there's all of that energy is there. And we see that society is not so peaceful at the moment. You look around the world, there's all this disharmony. And it's becoming, people aren't following these basic principles of spirituality. So we brought this property here a little over 30 years ago. I've been living here for nearly 14 years. And we used to run a school here. This building we're in was actually a Hare Krishna school, primary school. When we first built we first brought the property, we built this school, we built the different buildings around here. And when the school closed in the mid-90s, the government were trying to merge small schools in country Victoria, so we lost our funding at one point in time. So everyone moved to our other farm, which is near Byron Bay, near Murwillumbah, up in northern New South Wales. And our school's been running up there for 40 years. We have a school for the kids up there. But then I came here 14 years ago and I had all this facility and everything, so then I turned it into a retreat centre. So now we run retreats, yoga, vegetarian cooking, all sorts of things. And we teach people how to live a wholesome existence, an existence based on wellness, so that you can be happy and satisfied. You can live in this material world, but your consciousness can go to a much higher place. So that's the basic gist of what we are doing here. So usually what we do, we just ask for questions. Some people want to know more about our lifestyle or our philosophy, or you can ask a question about anything, the meaning of life, the universe, everything, and we'll try to answer your questions. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask. Yes, ma'am.
What does your regular day entail? Can you describe your regular day?
What we do on a regular daily basis? Yeah, that's a good question. We get up very early, between 4 and 5 in the morning, quite early. And that's when we do our meditation. That mantra we're chanting before, the Hare Krishna mantra. So we meditate on that on beads, like meditation beads, which you can see in our shop just behind us. We have meditation beads. So we chant the mantra on the meditation beads, one mantra on each bead, and there's 108 beads. And for those of us who have taken certain vows, we go around 16 times a day, which takes about 2 hours. So this is what you call hardcore meditation. Our meditate, like some of us are, right, I've been doing this for nearly 30 years, 2 hours of meditation a day. So we get up early in the morning because that's the best time to meditate. 5 till 7, say, that's like a really powerful time to meditate. When I'm in India, I couldn't go last year for the first time. It was the first time I missed in 23 years. I couldn't go because of compliments of COVID-19. We couldn't travel. So when I go to India, I get up at 3:30 in the morning. Go to bed at 8:30, get up at 3:30. So the early part of our day is more or less spiritual meditation, mantra meditation. And then we usually have some, in the temples around the world, usually around about 7:30 in the morning, we have a class on some of the ancient texts, like the Bhagavid Gita, one of these books. Then we'll have a class on that. And one of our senior monks will speak about that. And then after that, we have breakfast, spiritual food. And then we do whatever we do during the day. So for me, it's mainly organizing events like this, retreats and things like that. And Mani Griva, who was sitting here with me before, he lives here with me. He's in the kitchen now cooking for everyone. He looks after the cows and the agriculture. We do organic farming. And then we run retreats on the weekends quite often. So I'm organising that and facilitating that. So that's more or less what we do. And then in the evening, we'll have dinner and then hang out with the family, my wife and daughter. And then I'll probably read some more spiritual stuff. Go to bed about 9 o'clock, get up at 4 o'clock and do it all again. That's more or less what we do. Our job description is to be spiritual. So that's what I do. That's what I can say. Nice question. Yes, sir.
Since when did you start believing in Krishna?
Since when did I start believing in Krishna? That's a very deep question, very good question. It's nice when the kids come, the kids are very introspective about things. First of all, we'll explain who is Krishna, because some people may not know. Hands up if you don't know who Krishna is. Oh, everyone knows Krishna. Oh, that's good. That makes my life easy. You know Krishna. Okay, so Krishna is the blue person in the pictures. You see he's a bluish cowherd boy. That in the Hare Krishna movement, we're an ancient tradition. We go back thousands of years. In our tradition, we understand that God is a blue cowherd boy. Now that may sound like quite a, how would you describe it? Like a extraordinary description. But the more I've been doing this for the last 30 years, to me it's normal now. I think it's not. I see Krishna, I see God as a blue cowherd boy. To me that makes more sense, because when I grew up, God was depicted to me as an old man with long robes and a big white beard. So if you had a choice yourself, whether you would live for the rest of eternity as a man with long robes and a white beard or a blue cowherd boy, hands up if you would choose the blue cowherd boy. Hands up if you turn the robes and the beard. It's cool, there's no judgment, you can do whatever. But most people chose the cowherd boy. Right? So some people ask me sometimes, why do we see God as being a blue cowherd boy, and why do you accept that? Because he's very cool. Krishna is cool. When you see God as a white man, big white beard and the robes and everything, I don't know if you'd describe that as being cool. You'd say maybe majestic, or powerful, or wise, or ancient. All of these things are there. But to describe him as being... Can everyone just move forward just a little bit? Because more and more people are coming. Just so people have got room. We have to social distance. You have to be 2 square meters, which is about that. So you've got to be that far away from everyone. So please don't go near any human beings as much as you can. Just stay a little distant. So everyone, please. The fact that he's like that is very cool. He's young. He's 16 years old eternally. So if I ask you, what if you could choose your age for the rest of eternity, what age would you choose? You can choose anything you want. You can be 45, you can be 96, you can be 1, you can be... What would you choose?
9.
18. Okay, we've got an 18.
And teenagers.
18? Yeah, okay. So he chose 16. Krishna says 16. 16 is even a little bit more innocent than 18. Right? 18, you know, we chose 18, but 18 you know a bit more, but 16 you're a little bit more innocent. So he stays on that platform eternally. So he's a 16-year-old cowherd boy. So he spends the whole day herding his cows out in the fields, having picnics with his friends, dancing with his friends on the bank of the river. Hands up if that's something you'd like to do for eternity. Yeah, so he's cool. That's all right. So that's why we look at him as being God. Now the next question is, why is he blue? Okay, that's also a good question. So you look out now, we've got blue sky there. That colour of the sky makes you very happy. I used to sell Hare Krishna books on the street for many years when I was a monk. And, you know, I did it for many years in the streets of Melbourne. Swanston Street, you'd walk down the street, I was standing there, people would sort of say, "Excuse me, are you from Melbourne or from out of town?" They'd say, "I'm from Melbourne." I'd say, "Oh, that's great, you get one of these books." And they said, "You're from out of town." I said, "That's great, you get one of these books." So I did that for years. And I noticed the days when the sky was blue, it was a lot easier to stop people. Very perceptible. And you know, if you go to Bali or Vanuatu or any of these countries, people are happy. Right? You go to Sweden or Iceland or any of these places where, you know, the sun doesn't even come up sometimes. It comes up 4 hours a day. It's very different mindset. It doesn't mean there's no happy people in Sweden, but it just means it's a very different... The weather has a big effect on our consciousness. So the fact that he is blue means he's happy. Right? That's why he's bluish. Right? And people say, well, that's a little bit radical, you know, he's blue, you know, but he can do what he wants. So he chooses to be blue forever. That's his prerogative. And sometimes people ask, well, why is he blue? Well, next time you meet him, ask him. Just say, "Hey, Krishna, why are you blue?" "Yeah, because I'm happy." So, what was your question? Yeah.
My question was, since when did you start believing?
Yeah, since when did I start believing in Krishna? So yeah, I just wanted everyone to understand who is Krishna. So that's why I went on that tangent. So when did I start believing in Krishna? About 30 years ago. I was about 18. So I grew up in Melbourne, and I had quite a normal childhood in many ways. And when I was 15, one of my brothers died. I was only 15 years old, and one of my brothers passed away very suddenly. So when that happened, I really had to question what was life about. Because suddenly the world changed very rapidly. So I began to think very deeply about what is this about, why are we here, what's it all for? And then by the time I was 18, I was studying acting to become an actor, and I was doing modeling to make some money. But I used to wake up in the morning and I used to think, what's this all about? I felt like empty in my life. So then I started reading all the Eastern books, you know, Buddhism, Baha'i and different things. And then I got the Bhagavid Gita, this book, which we have here, which is available in our shop. If you want to read it, you can get a copy yourself. And I read the Bhagavid Gita, and after reading the Bhagavid Gita, then it made so much sense to me that I went to the Hare Krishna Temple in Melbourne, and I walked in there and I said, "I want to join." And they said, "You can't join because you just walked in." And I said, no, I want to. I'm going to keep coming. Every day I will come. And I actually talked them into letting me join. I joined within 1 week, which is not, we don't normally do that. You know, normally we wait a little bit longer. But I wouldn't go away. I just said, I want to do this. I knew this was what I wanted to do with my life. So yeah, about 30 years. And then when I read more about Krishna, you know, in the beginning, I never had a problem with seeing God like that as Krishna. It makes sense to me. But now I am, I suppose you say, like addicted. Like now I can't see Krishna any other way. I can't see God any other way. He's too cool. He's too cool. I just want to go and live with him one day in his world, which we call Goloka. Some people call it heaven, call it whatever you want to call it. And I just want to hang out with the cows, have picnics all day, dance on the bank of the river, no tax, everything's free, there's no birth, there's no death, there's no old age, there's no disease. It's a pretty good deal. And all I have to do is dance down the street with my tambourine and then I go back to Krishna. So, yeah, it's pretty easy actually. So yeah, that's how long I've been. That was the question, wasn't it? When did I start believing in Krishna? Yeah. Yeah. So did I answer it? Okay. Sometimes I just go around. Yes, madam.
What is your normal routine about in the morning until evening?
I answered that one already. Were you here when I answered that? Have you been here from the start? Yeah, I answered that one already, so I won't repeat it because you can watch it on the video. We're recording it. So if you want to watch it again later, then you can. Yeah, I won't do that one again. But.
My question is that we see that we have in Krishna's hand we have to be not restless, but then in school they teach us to be strong. So how can we balance these two?
Strong, and what was the other one?
We should be weak and not restless.
Which word?
Helpless. She said,
Helpless?
yeah, in Krishna's hand, devotee should be helpless, but in school they taught us to be independent and strong. So how can I balance these two?
Okay. So you're going through an existential crisis at school. That's basically what you're going through, right? You know this word, existential? Yeah, you understand. Okay, so she's having an existential crisis at school because at school they tell her to be strong and confident on all these things. And in the ancient teachings, it says we should feel dependent on Krishna. So actually the two are not contradictory. You can be both simultaneously. It's not that one is right and one is wrong. You can be both. So in our lives, you have to be strong because otherwise the world will mow you down. Does anyone know what I'm talking about here? All the adults do. All the kids are looking at me just going. And all the adults are like, yeah, we know what's going on. Yeah, because the world will just mow you down otherwise. So you have to be strong. Just like in the last 12 months, here at Hare Krishna Valley and at our temple in Melbourne. Our Melbourne Temple, which basically this is one, the temple owns the farm, so it's one entity. It's just like a different department of the... So we have 3 restaurants in Melbourne. We have a big temple which thousands of people come to every week. So our weekly income is about $60,000. And when COVID hit, we went from 60,000 to 2,000 overnight. So that was a big test for all of us because, we have to run the whole thing. Everyone wants to come here and experience this and learn and, you've got this beautiful 200 acres, but this costs a lot of money to run. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just all spiritual. It's just like, we have to think about how to run this. That's why we ask people to give donations. Like many people go, like now because of the COVID thing, people have to buy tickets online now because we have to trace everyone like that. Some people, because we're transitioning, if you didn't buy your tickets online, if you just leave a donation in the donation box, we'd appreciate that because it helps us keep the place running. So then we can look after all of you and feed everyone. Because you guys eat a lot. Whenever people come, we have to cook a lot because a lot of people, they like to eat. So we don't mind, we like eating a lot too. So, so that was a big test for us last year because we had to keep the movement going, for that whole year. And we had to do a lot of hard work. Some of our boys, we had to start catering and selling food, and we're driving around. People were delivering meals around Port Melbourne, around where our temple is. So we had to do all sorts of things. So it means you have to be strong. Otherwise, if you're not strong, then the whole world just swallows you up. So it's good to be strong. But because we're devotees of Krishna, we're dependent on him, right? So one of my gurus told me a few years ago, he said, act like everything depends on you, but pray like everything depends on Krishna. So that's how we strike the balance. So act like it's you has to do it, but in your back of your mind, you know if Krishna doesn't look after us, it all falls apart. Because anything can happen at any time, as we've all experienced in the last 12 months. And there's more coming. If you think the world's just going to be peaceful and happy from now on, unfortunately that's not true. So be strong. And if things get really difficult, come here. Because we will look after you. And this place is always peaceful and happy. Even when we've got nothing to eat. We're still peaceful. We're actually learning. There's many things you can eat here. Just you can pick things. So we're trying to learn more about that. Like there's all sorts of weeds and things that you can actually eat. So we're trying to learn. Because we don't know in the future. Maybe we'll live on our cow's milk and green spinach stuff that grows in the paddock. Okay, so does that answer your question? Is it okay? Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Very recently I started reading Bhagavad Gita, not much, very little. Up until now I'm 41, I haven't read it. Even though I had the book, my father had the book at home, never read it. There's certain items there, certain things there which I don't really reconcile to the current world, in the sense that when Krishna says, at least the initial chapters when he talks about life and rebirth and karma and life coming back again. Like, it kind of becomes, how do you kind of, like, my father believes it, definitely my parents believe it. To me, how do I justify myself? Like, hey, that is true. It's not something that somebody has written in a book, and I need to accept it verbatim. Like, how do I accept it?
Yeah, okay, so I think the question is, we read the ancient books, they're thousands of years old, and naturally, because especially in this day and age, people are very, what's the word? The word I'm thinking of is not coming into my mind. People are very skeptical, yeah, it's a good word. Who said skeptical? Oh, you did. Oh, thank you. Skeptical, my better half. Skeptical. Yeah, people are very skeptical these days. They think, they question everything. People have lost faith in everything, which is natural for this age, because there's so many things which we do lose faith in. So people become skeptical because you read these ancient teachings and then quite often you think, is this really true? Who wrote this? Where does it come from? Does it actually work? Does it apply to the modern age? All these things. So these are natural questions. So the basic answer is that the teachings are universally applicable, which means time and space does not govern them, because they're coming from God himself, from Krishna himself. So he's beyond time and space. So you can have these teachings, 3000 BC, or you can have them 2022, or you can have them 500 years ago, or 500 years in the future. The teachings will be applicable in every time and place and circumstance. We may have to make slight adjustments according to time, place and circumstance, how we apply the teachings, but the teachings themselves remain pure and transcendent to time, place and circumstance. So the question is, one of the points you made is, how do we know it's true? You put it into practice. Right? You practice it. So when you follow the teachings, then you prove the only person you can experiment upon is yourself. So I'm the only one who can find out if it's true or not. So I read the book. I've been reading it for 30 years. So I read the book. The teachings say do like this. I apply that to my life. I get the result. What's the result? I feel happy. I feel peaceful. I feel content. I feel connected to Krishna, to God. So, and then because I have that experience, then the next thing I read, I think, well, it worked 2 pages ago. So I'll try this as well. And oh, wow, that works as well. And then, after all these years, I keep trying it. It keeps working. So then my faith increases over time. So you have to practice it. Just like in the beginning we were chanting Hare Krishna. You were here when we were chanting? Yeah. So we're doing the chanting. So it says in the ancient teachings, it said chant the Hare Krishna mantra every day. So that's what we do. And Prabhupada, who's our guru, who's the founder of our movement, he said, chant and be happy. That's one of our mottos. So it works. I chant, I'm happy. It works. So why would I stop? I keep doing it. And Prabhupada used to say, just try it. If it doesn't work, you didn't lose anything. Prabhupada once said, he said, even if Krishna is not God, still our lifestyle is the best. Yeah, look where we live. It's nice. Look at the food that we eat. It's nice. Look at the people who we live with. It's nice. Look at our dog and our cows and our peacock. It's nice. What is the problem? So just do it. The point is that in this day and age, people overcomplicate everything in their minds. Oh, is this really true, or does this really work? Because, you know, we've had so many negative experiences. Yeah. So just practice it, and if it works, keep doing it. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, then we'll give you your money back. Okay? Okay. You happy?
Yeah.
Okay. Please come again.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Right.
Is Hare Krishna Valley totally self-sufficient, or do you need to depend on the outside world for many things?
Is it completely self-sufficient? Yeah, 100%. No, I'm joking. The electricity all comes from us. No, it doesn't. The electricity is coming from the outside world. See, people use this word self-sufficient. They don't actually understand how deep that statement goes. People think self-sufficient means food. Are we self-sufficient in food? No. Do we grow our own vegetables? A lot of them, not everything, but a lot of the vegetables we grow. We don't grow grains. So self-sufficient means, people think, oh, you grow your own vegetables, you're self-sufficient. Try to live on just vegetables. It's possible, but it's not easy. Right? So you've got to grow your own grains. We're not doing that yet. We have plans to. You have to milk your own cows. Right? We're doing that. We're beginning to develop that program. Technically means making your own power. So on that side of the farm, we're developing an ox or a bull turnstile where we'll generate our own power. So that's happening, but we're still developing that. We use the cow dung to make biogas, so we're doing that already, but we need to develop that more. We're creating our own gas, so we can cook on the gas coming from the cow dung, so we're doing that. So yeah, are we self-sufficient? Not entirely, but we're working on it. Then also your clothes, it means you have to grow cotton or hemp or something, and then you have to pick it, and then you have to sew it, and then you have to weave it. People think self-sufficiency means you just got some cotton growing out in the fields, but there's a whole process. There's a lot involved. So we're not entirely self-sufficient, but we're further ahead than others, and we're trying to, but we need help. The problem is these days everyone wants to live separately and individually, but self-sufficiency was there in the past because people lived in villages, collectively. And people don't want to do that anymore. Everyone wants to live in their own space, right? Have their own Netflix, right? And have their own internet and all. People want all these things, and then they want everything self-sufficient as well. So it doesn't work. So we're working on it, but there's a lot involved. So, any other question or comment? Everyone has entered into a state of enlightenment. Usually there's more questions, so if anyone has, you have anything. So, yeah, I'll take it.
So the different farms that are there all around Australia, like we have Kokla in New South Wales and in Queensland, do they all kind of operate on the same premise, or is it the same guiding philosophy, if I may?
Yeah, we're part of the Hare Krishna movement, which is international. So we have 600 temples around the world, more than 600 temples. So if you go to any of our temples around the world, then the philosophy is the same. We just have one book, the Bhagavid Gita. Oh, we have more books, but it's all the same. So if you go into any, they will teach you the same thing. And we have more than 100 farms around the world. So all the farms are the same. Like all the principles are the same, everything. You know, how we do things on a daily basis in terms of what we focus on in terms of our work during the day, that might be slightly different according to individual, but basically it's the same. Same principle. Someone else had their hand up? You're okay? I think she's too young to ask her questions. Someone else has a question? Yeah.
Why is Kurukshetra land so powerful?
What was that?
Why is Kurukshetra land so powerful?
Who?
Kurukshetra land.
Kurukshetra.
Land. Why is so powerful?
Kurukshetra what?
The land where the battle was fought.
Yeah.
Why is so powerful?
Why is it so powerful? Okay. If you go to any place, like Hare Krishna Valley, where we are now, if you go to any place where people are practicing a lot of spiritual life, the place becomes powerful. It has a vibration. So Kurukshetra, which is where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, because such a holy teaching was spoken there, it becomes a very powerful place. It has like a vibration. So basically any place which where something very significant is going on, something spiritual is going on, then it takes on that vibration, it becomes very powerful. So Kurukshetra or Vrindavan or Mathura, any of these holy places in India, they have this powerful spiritual vibration. Good question. So, any other questions?
This may be a slightly off-topic question, but can I ask whether Lord Ram has the same kind of importance in the movement that Krishna has, given that you call it the Hare Krishna movement, and there's so much of, we believe that Krishna is the one God. However, the mantra has Hare Rama as well.
So do we give as much significance to the incarnation of Ramachandra as we do to Krishna? We give more emphasis to Krishna because we understand, this is a technical point, but we understand him as being Swayam Bhagavan, or the original form of God. But in our theology, our philosophy, it describes that God can manifest different forms to present different moods, just like we all have different moods. But when you are in a different mood, you can't change yourself. No, it's just you. You're either grumpy or you're happy. Right? And there's all the variations in between. But when he turns into a different mood, he can actually turn into a different form, right, to show that personality. So Ramachandra shows a particular personality. So it is Krishna, but Krishna in a different mood, but the original form is Krishna. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. It's technical stuff. But, I hope everyone's following. To whatever. Anyway, our food's good anyway. So even if you don't understand what we're talking about, the food is good. So I'll keep coming back anyway. Yes, sir.
I don't think this is a necessary question, but is Jesus... who is more powerful, Jesus or Krishna?
Who's more powerful, Jesus or Krishna?
I think
It's like a slider.
What was that? You think they're the same?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, I could get in a lot of trouble on this question. But you're very fortunate because I like trouble. So I can answer this question. So who's more powerful, Jesus or Krishna? It is simple, Krishna. Right. Now why is that? Because Jesus is not God. Jesus is the Son of God. And Prabhupada, who's the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, he said there is Christianity and there is churchianity, and they're not the same. Right? Christianity means what Jesus taught, and Jesus never says anywhere in the Bible, I am God. But now you have churchianity, where they have a confused philosophical understanding, and they say, there's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and it's all one and all the same. Jesus says in the Bible, I sit at the right hand of my Father in the kingdom of God. So if he's sitting at the right hand, he's not God. He's the Son of God. So this is where the confusion lies. Like he is God, but he's God in flesh, and they become confused. So the question is, who is Jesus? He's a guru. He's a teacher. He came to teach. He was sent by God, by Krishna, to teach us. But when he taught us, he never said, I am God. He said, I am God's messenger, or servant, or Messiah, or representative, or guru. That's what he is. Same as Prabhupada, the founder of our movement. He never said, I am God. He said, I am God's servant. So Jesus is the servant of God. He's not God. Even though they might teach you something different at school. I'm not sure. But next time they say that to you, you can say, no, actually it is like this. Actually it is like this. Sure. What I do to people is, when they say things like this, because sometimes people say, oh, he's God, or this, I just say, show me where he says that. Just show me where he doesn't say it. So, even in like the Bhagavid Gita, our book, sometimes people meet us and they say, oh, it says in the Bhagavad. I say, show me where it says it. If you're saying it, then show me. That's okay. So don't make things up, that's the point. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
So I will ask my question.
Yeah, please.
You said when you were younger you didn't understand, or prior to joining the Hare Krishna movement, you didn't understand what life was about or the meaning of being here. How does Hare Krishna, or your belief now, answer that question?
So the question is, what's the purpose of life, or what we're here, or
how does Hare Krishna answer that question, the purpose of life?
how do we answer the question of the purpose of life? Yeah, it's a good question. We are eternal. We are the soul. The body is just in Bhagavad Gita it's called a yantra. Yantra means a machine. So just like you came in a car today, I presume. Right, so, or maybe you rode your horse or whatever you did. Most people came in a car. So you're not the car. The car is just the machine that you get in as the driver or the passenger, and you move the car. Without you, the car does not move. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the body, our soul is sitting in the body, but the soul is not the body. It's just a machine. And as soon as your soul steps outside of your body, it's a lifeless machine. It's only animate because the soul is there. So first of all, that answers the question, who are we? We're the soul. In Sanskrit it says, Jivera Sarupa Hoy Krishnera Nichadas. You are the soul, you are a spiritual entity. Now the second question is, so what's your purpose? What's the meaning of it all? Why do we exist? We exist to do seva, or serve. If you analyze everything that all of us do every day, it's service. Right? You're serving someone. You're doing something for someone or something. Right? That's all we do, all the time, eternally. Right? We're just meant to serve. So what does the Hare Krishna movement teach? That natural propensity to serve is in all of us. Right? We like doing things for each other. Right? Hands up if you like doing things for other people. Yeah, about 50%. It was more than that, I was just joking. Some people are just like, yeah, when's lunch? But most of us like doing stuff. Okay, who's happier? The person who serves or the person who gives the service or receives it? The person who gives it. Yeah. There's more happiness in giving than receiving. Just like we have mental illness all over the world these days. Right? Everyone, people come to us all the time. Oh, I'm suffering from this. I'm suffering from that. Especially in the last 12 months, it's become more prevalent in the world. So half the time we just say to people, just go and start doing something for someone else. Then you haven't got time to worry about yourself. Oh, my life's like this, like that. Yeah, okay, all our lives have got problems. You want me to tell you my problems? Right? You'd be surprised if you found out my problems. Right? And I'd be surprised if I found out yours. We've all got problems. But the reason we're happy is we don't focus on our problems, we serve other people. Right? I could sit here, I could have got up this morning and said, oh, I don't feel good. I'm really unhappy, my life's not good. Or I could say, hey, I've got 80 or whatever it is people have turned up today. I can share with them spiritual knowledge. I can serve them in this way and help them become enlightened. Right? We can cook a nice meal which is spiritually potent and serve that to everyone. We can educate them about how to live in this world in such a way that you will be peaceful and happy. how to coexist with the animals, how to coexist with nature. So I can make my choice. I can serve and be happy, or I can just concentrate on myself. Like Tony Robbins, the great motivational speaker, I think most people know him. I heard him say recently that, if anyone, including him, he said that if you just spend 24 hours just with your mind, of course you're going to go crazy. Right, the mind's going to drive you nuts. Just give yourself 24 hours in a room by yourself. Right, you start like, am I really here? Is this really happening? It's like, God knows what will happen. Right? So the point is, we're meant to serve. That's our purpose for existence. That's what the Hare Krishna movement teaches. And Krishna, because he's God and he started the whole thing, he says, serve me. If you really want to be happy, serve me. So that's what we do in the Hare Krishna movement. We serve Krishna. It's all about serving him, making him happy. And like I said before, just try it. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, no loss. I've been doing it for 30 years. I get happier. I can honestly say I get more and more happy as the years progress. My experience becomes more profound. It becomes deeper. And that's what I like about this. It's always evolving and deepening. It's not superficial. It's a very deep existence. So that's the purpose of life, according to us.
Thank you.
Everyone else has got their take on it. There's 25 million people in Australia, you probably get 25 million different answers like that. But our food's better anyways. Like Prabhupada said, our Guru said it. He said, even if Krishna's not God, it's still better. Our food's still better, our lifestyle's still better, We don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't take drugs, all this stuff. We're happy. I haven't had a drink of alcohol for 30 years. I've never once, I can honestly say, not once ever thought about it. Because I've got the only reason people are doing those things, because something's empty in here. Right? I've got so much fulfillment in there, I just don't have time for it. It doesn't even interest me. There's nothing there. So just try it. If it works, if it doesn't work.
What about your belief in medical intervention?
Medical intervention? What do you mean by that specifically?
If you're sick, and medicine and resus and all the rest of it.
Yeah, there are some religions and beliefs, like Jehovah's Witnesses and a few others, they have rules on things like that.
Yeah.
We don't have those rules. Yeah, it's like Prabhupada, who's the founder of our movement, he was just practical. Right? He didn't like taking allopathic or Western medicines. He didn't like it. Right? So he'd just take naturopathic, or what we call in India Ayurvedic, which means natural medicines. But if things got really bad, he would be practical. And it's interesting now because the whole world's talking about whether we get vaccinated or not. Right? And people always ask me this question, should we, shouldn't we, like that. The official Hare Krishna movement statement on vaccination is it's up to you. Right? We're not going to say do it or don't do it. That's your choice. Right? Am I going to do it? If you ask me as an individual, right, individual person, I'm going to put it off as long as I can. The only way that they will possibly get me to take it is if I have to go to India and it's compulsory, I'll probably do it on that level. Because I'm just too into going there. I just love it. So it's like, if I've got to have a shot my arm to do that. But I'm definitely not going to rush into it. And it's interesting because Prabhupada himself, because at the moment everyone's talking in the Hare Krishna movement, should we get vaccinated, should we not? So then we researched what he did and what he said. And when he went to South Africa, he had a injection for yellow fever. Because that was in the 70s and it was so he did do it, he did get vaccinated. Did he die or did he mutate? Or did he start howling at the moon? No. Are you going to die or mutate or howl at the moon if you get one of those vaccinations? Probably not. But, we're still not 100% sure. So I'm not rushing into it. But at the same time, if I do have to have it, I'm also not majorly worried that, they're going to put it in my arm by the time I get to India, I'm going to be like, oh. I'm not worried about that. But it's a personal choice. So yeah, medical intervention. We're practical. Some religions and philosophies, they won't take blood infusions and stuff like that. We're not like that. That's not practical. So we're just practical. That's all. We just try to live a healthy life. Like I honestly haven't taken anything allopathic, Western medicine, for I think once in the last 10 or 15 years. I was in India one time and I got like a bacteria, which is probably the equivalent of COVID, because I felt bad, So I don't know, maybe it was COVID, I don't know what I got. It was bad. So it was so bad that I took antibiotics. Some of my friends in there said, listen, take this, so I took it. But besides that, I never touched the stuff, not even Disprin, aspirin, anything. So it's personal choice.
Thank you.
Someone there? Yeah, one of you.
Does your whole family believe in Krishna?
Yep. You mean my wife and daughter or my extended family?
Your wife and daughter.
My wife and daughter do, yes. Yeah, which is handy. Makes life a lot easier. Yeah, it's just, I couldn't imagine being married to someone who didn't have the same belief system as me. It'd just be too, because I'm so into this. Like I like Krishna so much, and it's such a part of my life, and I talk about him every day, that if someone didn't believe that, they'd probably get pretty annoyed with me pretty quick. So it's just easier. So I just said to my wife at 2, I said, do you want to marry me because you believe in Krishna? And she said, yeah, cool. Yes, sir.
Have you ever been to, how many times have you been to India?
How many times I've been to India? 30 times, something like that. I'd have to count, but I've spent, so 30 times, 30 months, so that would be, 3 years of my life or something? Something like that. Between 3 and 4 years of my life I've spent in India. That's why I do this all the time. ठीक है? अच्छा. ठीक? ठीक? The Indians know what I'm talking about. If you're in India and you don't know what's going on, if you're in trouble, you just go like this. Right? And everyone just goes. It's all good. Any other questions? Yeah.
So you said at the age of 18 you had that turning point in your life. So any other experience you had in the last 30 years after that which really enlightened or which made you feel you're on the right path, or what you're doing is what you are supposed to do probably?
Every day is like that, because we have a sadhana. Sadhana means like a daily practice. So like we chant for 2 hours every day and we do these things. So when you do these things on a daily basis, it reinforces every day that, yeah, I'm on the right track, I'm happy, path. So you have to practice these things. That's why we say to people, chant every day. I do 2 hours a day, even if you just do 10 minutes a day. Just try it, see if it works. And then you'll feel this spiritual connection. And then every day it reinforces, yes, I'm doing the right thing, yes, I'm doing the right thing.
Are you happy with what you have gained in the past year?
Say it again?
Are you happy with what you have built in the past year?
Am I happy with,
What you have built in the past year?
like in my own life, you mean?
Yeah.
Am I happy with my life over the last 30 years?
Yeah.
No, I'm miserable. Thank you for your question. Any other questions?
I'm interested to know why it's better to meditate really early in the morning.
What's that?
I'm interested to know why it's better to meditate really early in the morning.
Why it's better?
Yeah. What's the current thoughts around why?
Yeah, it's because the reason we meditate, there's a time, different times of the day have different energies. And in the ancient teachings, it says the Brahma Muhurta, which means an hour and a half before the sun rises, is the most sacred time of the day and has the most powerful spiritual energy. And basically it's peaceful. And when you're meditating at that time of the day, your mind isn't going so fast. So if you're already chanting by 4 or 5 in the morning, it's only about 7 when you really start thinking, okay, what have I got to do today? So it's just easier. Otherwise, sometimes we get up late because we have a late night or something, and sometimes we don't do our chanting till 10 in the morning, or sometimes 7 at night, if the day just goes crazy or something. So it's not as effective generally. When you're really spiritually progressed, like when you're really you can do it any time. You can do it day, night, middle of the day, it doesn't matter because you're just so focused. But especially in the beginning, but in general, it's just easier. And the world's peaceful, the mind's peaceful, you're fresh, so it's easy and you're more focused, so you'll get more out of it. So especially in the beginning, like if you're just doing it like 10 or 12 in the morning or like that, you won't get as much out of it, that's all. So that's what we do. And then once you get into that rhythm, going to bed early, getting up early, it just becomes like your cycle. And you just feel, according to Ayurveda, or the ancient health science from India, it says that 2 hours of sleep before midnight, 1 hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 hours of sleep after midnight. So you'll feel more rested by going to bed early. And I experience that when I go to bed early, I feel more rested. It's a better quality sleep, it's more powerful. So that's why we do it. Any other questions? I've got time for 1 or 2 more. So. Or we can just look at each other for another 5 minutes. It's up to you. Anything else? Yeah.
So what's the significance about cows? And Sri Krishna is of course Gopal, is a cow herder, but why cows? Or is it the same law with any other animal?
Yeah, it's a good question. So in India we say holy cow or sacred cow, like that. So why wasn't it an aardvark? Sacred aardvark or sacred holy aardvark, or like that. All life is holy, all life is sacred. We respect all life. But the cow is full of Shakti, which means energy. Krishna, God himself, chose the cow as having special potency within it. It's not just the cow, there's other animals. Our horses also have it. Elephants have it. Dolphins have it. There's different members of the animal kingdom which have extra potency in them. They've got like a mystical ability or mystical potencies. Just like some autism is on the rise. More children are being born or developing autism. They're becoming autistic. And I saw recently, if you put an autistic child on a horse, the autism disappears dramatically. And they get off the horse, it's there again. So the horse is mystical. You can say, it works. You can see it. So certain animals have mystical potency, and the cow has special potency. Manigriva, who looks after our cows, he was telling me that if you go to the cows and they smell you, they can detect like what nutrients are lacking in your body, and then they'll go out while they're eating during the day, and they'll eat those particular herbs, and then when you take the milk from our cows, those herbs will be in there, and that will cure you or heal you or nourish you. So they're a mystical creature. And just if you're feeling off colour, if you're sick, you can go to them, they can lick you and smell you and everything, and you'll start feeling better. I've experienced that many times here. And there's one particular cow, Revati, who's one of my favourites, and she's very mystical, so when she can really, sometimes when I'm feeling off colour, she licks you and everything, and then, so they have mystical potency. So why did Krishna choose the cow? I'm not sure. Next time I see him, I will ask him. I'll say, why are you blue and why did you choose the cow? But there's something there. It's because we live with them, so we feel there's a potency there. They are special. Is it okay?
So we all love Sri Krishna, but what kind of devotee does Sri Krishna likes?
What's the question?
What kind of devotee to Sri Krishna does Sri Krishna prefer, or does he like any specific devotee? Or is it all Gopi or Radha or maybe somebody else, or is it all
No, he likes everyone. He has his favourites, but he likes everyone. He likes all of us, because we all come from him. So he likes all of us, but he has a few favourites. But I don't know if I'll tell you who they are, because you might become jealous. But he does have some favourites. His favourites are in the pictures. You see Radha, she's with him. Yeah, she's his favourite. She's like his topmost favourite. So Radha is she is the most favourite of everyone. Any other questions? We can take one more. Yes, sir.
So, what happens to the soul of the animals once they pass away? Is it similar to humans, or what's the reincarnation process?
Everyone reincarnates. So when an animal dies, the difference is when animals die, there's a natural hierarchy. So when you die as an animal, you go like to the next species. It's already worked out. So you go to like the next, and when you become a human, humans, they have a choice. Humans can go up or down. It's a different form of life. Whereas animals have to go, like when they die, they just naturally go to the next, they go to the next, they go until they become human again. But when you're human, then it's a crossroads. You can go higher or lower, depending on how you live your life and the consciousness that you develop. So it's different for each animal. But animals just go through there. So if a dog dies, then it has to go to the next dog species, because there's hundreds, maybe thousands of different dog species. So you have to go through all of them, and once you're finished with them, then you go and you become a cat. I'm making this up, I don't know. But there is a gradation. The basic gradation is the lowest species are the aquatics, the fish, and everything in the aquatics. And from aquatics you go to plants. Once you've gone through plants you go to insects. From insects you go to reptiles. From reptiles you go to birds. From birds you go to animals. From animals you enter back as a human. And as a human, if you don't live properly, then you go back down again. If you live properly, then you can go higher. Is it okay? Any other questions?
Is there any possibility that we can get a chance to do meditation here?
We did meditation before.
Not proper chanting, that as you say, early morning and...
Yeah, if you stay overnight, sure. Or if you want to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning in Melbourne and drive down. Yeah, you can come here anytime you want. This place is always open, so you can always come. Like that. Better if you don't turn up in the middle of the night. But I mean, you can if you want. But I'll probably be asleep. Someone else had their hand?
The mother cow dairy milk, is it from these cows?
No, mother cow dairy milk is from a farm up near Shepparton. That's like a mass farm where they're producing a lot of milk and they're packaging and selling. Our cows, because we only have 25, the amount of milk we get we just use for things here or we send to the temple in Melbourne. But mother cow dairy is ahimsa milk, which means the cows are not slaughtered. So you should support that. Yeah, it's good milk. But yeah, it's not from here. But yeah. Our goal is to show people how to live perfectly with the cows. So it's not about, because we couldn't have that many cows here where we could have a commercial dairy. Because we only have 200 acres, which is only going to sustain about 40 cows sustainably. Otherwise it becomes a very commercial endeavour. We're not going to do that. So we're just showing the rural or the natural traditional village way of living with cows. And they're producing milk in a sacred way, but their aim is different to us.
Is the milk sold commercially, it goes through the normal process of pasteurization, or how is it?
The mother cow dairy milk? Yeah, it's pasteurised.
Yeah.
By law, you have to in Australia. Yeah, you can't have unpasteurised milk on the market. So. Put you?
I was just going to ask with regards to the soul and the soul moving to different entities in the next life. Is it your belief that that soul stays as the one soul, or can it like split?
No, it stays one. You are a soul. So when you die, you go into a different body. It's you that goes into that body. You don't split, or it's you. You're a soul. You're a personality. And you've been through many previous lives. So it's the same person. You're just going through different forms. That's all. And now we have to wake up and understand who we actually are. We've got to stop thinking we're a dog, or a peacock, or whatever form. Because whatever form you go in, that's what you think you are. But that's not who you are. You're something much higher than that. Now you think, I'm an Australian woman, I'm a certain age, I do this. That's not who you are. If you walk back into the spiritual world now dressed like that, everyone will look at you and say, it looks a bit like what's going on up there, but it's not exactly what's going on up there. If you look at the pictures there, you see what it's like up there, how everyone dresses, how everyone hangs. So you have to make a decision if that's what you want or not. It's very colourful up there. It's colourful and it's a whole different mood up there. If you want to wear black all the time, I don't know if you're going to fit in. You see dudes walking around with black and mohawks and all that stuff. Maybe not. The vibe's different up there. Any other questions?
How come some people remember their past lives? Majority don't.
Yeah, most people don't, but occasionally it pops up, someone does. I don't know why, but some people they do. They remember. And it's very well documented now. Very well documented. There's kids who grow up and they're like telling details. There's one boy in America, he was, his father, so his grandfather, the grandfather became the son. It's very well documented. And the grandfather either murdered someone or knew about a murder. So the son, who's like 9 years old, starts describing this person who was killed. And then when they investigated the whole thing, it was exactly how he said. So it was like the grandfather became the son. It's very well documented, these things now. So people can say, I don't believe in reincarnation. It really doesn't matter. It's like me saying, I don't believe in gravity. That didn't happen. People say that. People, I don't believe in reincarnation. It doesn't really matter. It's happening. It's very well documented now. So. Okay, we'll stop there. You've done very well. You've been very patient. So we'll give you a nice lunch. Like that. So I have a free magazine here. So if you want to learn more about what we do around the world, this is like a magazine that tells you about the Hare Krishna movement all over the world. Very interesting. That's free. That's just there. If you need to give a donation, just leave it in the donation box. We're going to go outside. We'll turn right and we'll get our plates there. So you can just grab your meal and then you're welcome to eat outside, or we have another room there, a dining room. So if you're a little cool or whatever, you can go inside as well. And then if you meet us in about 45 minutes, we'll go and visit the cows. So if you'd like to go and visit the cows, please come with us. Thank you for coming.